Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuffs. We do them here and everywhere, but yeah, this beer. Oh, Fox Farm up in this piece. Requiem. This be a double barrel aged barley wine aged in cognac and bourbon barrels. This comes pseudo courtesy of Steven. It was a month or so before BeerTuber Palooza. He's like, man, they just want to take all my money. And he's like, anybody want some? And I was like, I'll take one. And I bought one, and he ended up shipping it off to me with some bonus beers, which was quite nice. And we were going to do this. I guess the original kind of thought process was to kind of do this as a group review, a collab review, but not happening because it's been months and I kind of want to drink it. So that's what we're doing right now. Requiem, Fox Farm, like I said, double barrel aged barley wine aged in cognac and bourbon barrels. This is batch 1, 2022. I think that's all we get. Yeah, label-wise, it's classic Fox Farm fantasticalness. Got my old kind of bubbly schnifter kind of going. I wonder if I can get... I'm pretty sure I can just open this. Yeah, through the wax. We'll see what's what. So, I am in a mood for a barley wine. My brain is fried. That's why I want a barley wine. When my brain is completely, like, just toast. I like big beers. For those that don't know, we'll let this breathe for a hot minute. I used to do a lot of, like, music stuff back in the day. I used to do a lot of, like, live performance stuff, DJ stuff, and, like, weird electronic music and stuff like that. And I just kind of got away from it. And I really, video games are kind of stale to me now, and there's just no creative outlet for me. So I'm kind of diving back into that world from a kind of gear standpoint. So I'm kind of building up a little modular analog synth kind of setup, and it's a lot of heavy lifting for my brain. So there you go. Barley wines. That fixes everything. As far as this beer looks, yeah, looks all the part of a rich, decadent, double barrel aged barley wine. The reason why I say that is because there really is no head. There was one on the pour, not a big one. We can generate a little bit more head on it, but when you're talking about a double barrel aged beer, you're not expecting this huge, effervescent kind of thing. But it has that kind of rich, dark, mahogany doo-doo water kind of vibe. Let's get a nose. Oh, man, I'm gonna drool myself. It's that good. It's what I love about a really old aged barley wine. You know, it's giving me those sugar daddy notes, raisinettiness, all that kind of stuff. But in a beer that's much, much younger, that's where barrel aging kind of speeds up that process. Man, it smells so good. It is really just that kind of rich, decadent, kind of fudgy, kind of treacly, kind of like just everything you would think of an adulty version of a rich dessertiness with that raisinetti, sugar daddy. I'll keep going back to those. That toffee caramel kind of mixture that is rich and robust with that big kind of spirit character while it's not being overly hot. And sure, there is a bourbon character, sure there is a cognac character, but they meld together really well. And that's probably the biggest thing about this beer, is that it comes off like it's cohesive. It comes off like everything's one. There's no kind of like, I get a little bit of bourbon here, I get a little bit of barrel there, I get a little bit of beer here. No, it's all singular. Everything in here comes off as its own uniqueness in and of itself, as opposed to being individual bits and pieces that are trying to kind of reach out to you. So it's just this wave of epic deliciousness. Finger fart, for the lack of a better term. We're diving in. Cheers, y'all. That's nice. It's very nice. It does kind of miss the mark for me, though, a little bit, as far as what it's giving off on the nose, but what I kind of hoped it would be in a taste. So that richness, that combination, that raisinetti sugar daddiness is there, but it's not flushed out. It's very kind of, I don't want to use the word muted because it's there. It's more like less. Less would be the word I'd use. You know, if you have like you know, your favorite meal from a restaurant, it could be as basic as fast food, because fast food's really delicious for a reason, or some hoity-toity place. But every now and then, and this is what separates the best from the best when it comes to food or beer or whatever, is that every now and then it's just not as, it just lacks that kind of thump. It lacks that little bit of chutzpah that really makes it epic for you. And that's where this kind of lands. It gives me those sugar daddy vibes, but that dial is notched back just a skosh. And it's kind of like that across the board, mouthfeel wise. Not expecting a huge, soft, creamy deliciousness here, but it could use a little bit of beefing up from a mouthfeel standpoint. There's a tartness, a tannic tartness, that I don't think distracts from the beer all that much. I think I actually, in a certain viewpoint, it's kind of fun. But for this kind of beer, I really do want it to be kind of not being that tart. It's not a tart beer. It's not a sour beer. That's not what I'm trying to say. But there is this underlying tartness and subtle acidity, just a skosh bigger than I really want it to be. I want it to be a little bit more sweet, a little bit more kind of chocolatey, barrel chariness. I want everything here to be just dialed up just a skosh more, not a ton. We're going from 8 to 10 here, not from like 4 to 10 as far as volume goes. It's still really, really tasty. It just kind of lacks that kind of pizzazz that when you drink like some big barrel-aged kind of monstrosity like this in a very, very beautiful way. I mean it in a positive sense. It just kind of, it's just falling short in a very, very minimal way that's almost like nitpicky. Maybe that's me kind of like wanting and assuming that Fox Farm is going to just destroy everything in a very positive way. Like just be king shit of fuck mountain across the board. I just expect it to be big. Expect it to be bold. Expect it to be rich. And it just kind of, you know, is much better than what most people produce, but just falls a little bit flat based off of my expectations of what I typically like from them. Man, it sounds like a super negative review, but it's not. It's like, is this a really, really tasty, like double barrel-aged barley wine? Absolutely. Very, very delicious. Very fantastic. I'm glad I'm drinking it, but I kind of wanted, especially off the nose, because the nose led me to believe that those kind of rich, robust flavors are going to be there. I just kind of wanted a little bit more, you know? I kind of missed it here, so I guess that's the bummer. The whole thing. So yeah, very tasty. More, let's put it this way, if I'm gonna kind of equate it and try to hammer out exactly why, it comes off more like winey, sherry, porty to me than barrel-aged barley wine. Now that kind of makes sense, you know, cognac is technically in a wine family, yada yada yada, but it just comes off a little bit more kind of port sherry-ish than kind of rich, robust barley wine. And I like, you know, the latter when it comes to beer and stuff. So there you go. Brass taxes. Is it one of the better barrel-aged barley wines I've had? Is like, yes. Is it Mount Rushmore? No, but it's definitely kind of eking into the conversation. That's how this review kind of comes off a little bit weird for me, because I feel like I've been like kind of negative the whole time, but it's just tasty. I'm going to drink the crap out of it. And let's just talk about Fox Farm. I have still not been there. I need to go there. Have you been there? Have you had their beers? Have you had a bunch of their beers? What do you think their whole program basically is about for you? You know, because they do everything from mixed culture to hazies to barrel-aged stuff, all that kind of fun stuff. Have you had this particular beer, this particular vintage down there? So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little Fox Farm right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.